On day 6 of the trial, an unnamed witness was called to give evidence. She gave evidence behind a screen to protect her privacy. Allegedly, she had a fling with Cashman. Mr. Cooper asks, "I want to ask you about a previous firearms discharge." He explains the area. He says, "Did you go to that area as a result of the shooting?" The unnamed witness says, "I sure did, yeah. I remember it clear as day, like it was yesterday." Mr. Cooper says, "You nonetheless got quite close to the person who had been shot, did you not?" The unnamed witness says, "I stood behind his head, yeah." Mr. Cooper says, "He was shot 5 times. The unnamed witness says, "I heard the gunshots numerous times. He just asked me for help. That was heartbreaking for me, yeah." Mr. Cooper asks, "Have you always told the police the truth?" The unnamed witness says nothing but the truth, and she nods while she says this. "Do you tell lies?" says Mr. Cooper. "No," says the witness. "Have you ever told lies?" "I have told lies, yeah," says the witness. "Have you ever told the police lies?" says Mr. Cooper. "No," says the witness. "Have you ever told the police lies when they've asked about this case?" says Mr. Cooper. "No, 3rd time I've answered that question," says the unnamed witness. "Are you telling the truth now?" says Mr. Cooper. "Yes," says the witness. Mr. Cooper states, "You held the Bible to your heart as you were sworn in." "You're not, are you?" The witness asks, "Why's that?" "I suggest over the time you were interviewed by the police you told them lots of lies," says Mr. Cooper. "I told them no lies," said the witness. "You told them lies about your relationship with Tommy Cashman," says Mr. Cooper. "No," says the witness. "You told them lies about what clothing was taken or not taken," says Mr. Cooper. "No," says the witness. "You say you're an honest person," says Mr. Cooper. 100% yeah, says the unnamed witness. "When the police were interviewing you, do you hold anything back?" says Mr. Cooper. "From the start, yes. For the first couple of interviews, yes." "Can I suggest to you, you didn't just keep your mouth shut about Tommy Cashman, you told lies about him?" The unnamed witness says, "No, I never." Mr. Cooper says, "Essential to your dishonest evidence in your relationship with Tommy Cashman?" The witness says, "It's what you believe, but I know the truth, and I'm sure he knows the truth as well. I have no belief, no opinion. I'm simply putting to you what we say is evidence. I'm not personally having a go at you. You led the police to believe your relationship, that you'd never had a relationship," says Mr. Cooper. "It was a friend relationship with benefits. At the start, there were no benefits. We were friends," says the unnamed witness. "Was your relationship at any stage intense? Did you become obsessed by him?" says Mr. Cooper. "I was infatuated by him. I loved the way he would listen. I've never had anyone listen to me the way he would," says the unnamed witness. "He used to listen to me. I never had anyone listen to me the way he has. He's a good listener." Mr. Cooper says, "Your obsession was totally to do with the fact that he was a good listener. Nothing to do with sex?" The unnamed witness says, "Nothing to do with sex." "Did you want him to leave his family?" says Mr. Cooper. "We never ever spoke about anything to do with the relationship leaving each other. We knew it would never work. It never came up. I didn't want a relationship with him," says the unnamed witness. "Is the fact he would never leave his family and start a committed relationship with you something that angered you, upset you, maybe wanted to ruin him?" says Mr. Cooper. "No. Maybe I wanted to ruin him at the end. She had a right to know." She's been told on numerous occasions, he'd been with other people. So I didn't in the end, because I knew he would made out to be a liar, and I would have nothing but confrontation at my door from her family. Your relationship became quite toxic, says Mr. Cooper. We've had a few fallouts, says the unnamed witness. Your relationship was toxic, wasn't it? Said Mr. Cooper. I wouldn't use the word toxic, no, says the witness. You became angry about him, says Mr. Cooper. Angry towards the end, yeah, says the witness. When do you say the end was? Says Mr. Cooper. When I found out that information, we didn't speak after it. It became poisonous, said Mr. Cooper. No, I don't know where these words are coming from, says the unnamed witness. You wanted to ruin him, didn't you? Says Mr. Cooper. The unnamed witness says, yeah. You desperately wanted a relationship with him, says Mr. Cooper. No, says the unnamed witness. You wanted to run away with him to Spain, didn't you? No, said the unnamed witness. You wanted to go on holiday with him, says Mr. Cooper. He was the one who insisted, says the unnamed witness. You wanted to go to Ibiza with him to get him to pay for it, didn't you? Says Mr. Cooper. No, I'm an independent woman. I work for a living and I will pay my way. She also says you're 1,000,000% wrong. You were so in love with Tommy Cashman, you were giddy with it, says Mr. Cooper. I was giddy, but I wasn't in love. Love is a strong word to use. He made me very nervous around him. Not many people can make me nervous, says the unnamed witness. She also says she was nervous in a good way. You were infatuated by him, says Mr. Cooper. I'm not going to lie, yeah. He's a good-looking lad, says the unnamed witness. When he wasn't prepared to commit to you, it made you very angry, says Mr. Cooper. It was the other way round, says the unnamed witness. Why did you tell someone you were in love with him, says Mr. Cooper. He listened to me. He was there. He was there to listen, says the unnamed witness. So, you were excited by Cashman sexually, says Mr. Cooper. Sexually, no. He's a good-looking lad. But he couldn't perform well, says the unnamed witness. You were angry, resentful and vindictive towards Thomas Cashman, says Mr. Cooper. I was not, said the unnamed witness. Some messages are read out to the court. These messages are where the unnamed witness discusses how Cashman asked if she was okay. Also, the witness was quoted as stating, "No one in my life has ever asked that before." Mr. Cooper continues reading transcripts from her police interviews. What you're saying to the police is you saw Tommy as a good friend. You didn't give a shit about the relationship, says Mr. Cooper. Yep, says the unnamed witness. In one of the transcripts, the unnamed witness says Tommy Cashman started coming to her house a lot more. She said they would watch BBC One together. She was quoted as saying, "We used to love all the frauders, all that stuff." He'd come round. There was no flirtatiousness going on at the start. He used to flirt with me. He used to always compliment things. Hair, eyelash, nails. Every little detail. It was a bit strange. "Did you ever flirt with him?" says Mr. Cooper. "No. At that time, he sent the first text and it stemmed from there, basically," says the unnamed witness. "Did you send photos of yourself to Mr. Cashman?" says Mr. Cooper. "Oh yeah, I have a full album for Tommy on my phone. I hid an album on my phone and I sent him the whole thing, just to Tommy." "What kind of pictures?" Mr. Cooper asks. "It was always of my bum. It would never be my front parts, just of my body." He used to ask me for photos all the time. He used to love the photos. Just like he would send me one back. Mr. Cooper explains that the court is not a court of morals or a church court, and he's not trying to judge her. Mr. Cooper asks her why she sent them. Why? Because he asked for them. I'm not going to say no to them. We live in a society now where that happens on a regular occasion. I work hard on my body, so why not show it? He asked me for it, so. He'd send you pictures back. Would that excite you? Says Mr. Cooper. For me, that's irrelevant. I feel like some questions are irrelevant, says the unnamed witness. You were having an intimate, or trying to have an intimate or committed relationship, and he wasn't giving it back, says Mr. Cooper. Why was he always at my address? Why wasn't he anywhere else apart from my address? I certainly did not want to commit a relationship with a thug who had a little willy. It's not about having a little willy, it's about not having an erection, says the unnamed witness. The unnamed witness continues, on the first occasion, it was actually amazing. On the third occasion, I did have sex. It lasted about 56 seconds. I was not impressed. I was not impressed when he came up to me. I did not want to get pregnant. I don't have intense feelings. He was a good friend to me. I've had to do what I've had to do for a little girl. I've had to go through a lot of pain. A lot. A lot of times I've had to think about what Tommy done and said. I feel I was groomed. I was lied to. Groomed, says Mr. Cooper. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000% I was groomed, says the unnamed witness. Mr. Cooper goes on to reference a message in which the woman asks Cashman, "Why do your eyes undress me all the time?" Mr. Cooper asks, "You were angry he didn't think the same as you." "You're totally wrong," says the unnamed witness. "When you say you weren't getting sexual satisfaction from him, I'm suggesting you were getting sexual satisfaction from him and you found it amazing." "The first time, yeah," says the unnamed witness. Mr. Cooper continues to read from a transcript of the woman's interview. "You were flattered by him. Would that be right?" says Mr. Cooper. "No," says the unnamed witness. Mr. Cooper references what she calls the Tommy file. This is a hidden photo album on her phone, the one that she sent to him. These contain intimate images she would send to Cashman. He highlights a part of the interview where she says she was obsessive with him. The witness says, "He just made me happy. I'd get a message off him and I'd be so excited. I was like a kid again." "He'd let you down," Mr. Cooper said. "He'd go off the scene and then he'd come back like nothing ever happened." "At the time you were short of money," says Mr. Cooper. "I was stable," says the unnamed witness. At one stage, she and Cashman had an argument in which she says she warned him not to touch her. "He had spit in my face. It was a ruthless 2 days," she says. At this point, the judge asks the witness to remain calm. The unnamed woman says, "We can all smirk," to Mr. Cooper. "I'm more than ready for you, so come on." Mr. Cooper suggests he is trying to be respectful and says if he asks any inappropriate questions, he will be asked to stop by the judge. "I've ruined my whole life for this," says the witness.